Hey everybody, someone inquired about how I capture some of my Xbox slash console stuff, so I'm assuming this would work with PS3 and other, since it's basically the same setup. But today, hopefully, I'm going to teach you the somewhat complicated at first way of capturing your game stuff that you want to show. So hopefully you can understand everything. It might take a few uh, you know watchings to do so, like it took for me, but hopefully you get the gist of what I'm trying to explain to you, and you can begin capturing your whatever the hell you want. Now, there's actually a few different ways you can go about trying to record stuff. I'm going to go over the cheaper way first, which is what I originally started with. But first, you're going to need your capture card, which I have a Dazzle. These are not made anymore. Now, obviously, this is going to have some amateur camera work, so hopefully it's not too bad. But you're going to need a Dazzle first. You're going to need 3 splitters that look like this. I believe those are 2 female ends and 1 male end. Pretty sure. You're going to need 3 of those, and you're going to need 1 extra. As you can see my shadow. You're going to need 1 extra cable. Here, I'm totally blanking on the name of this cable. An AV cable. You're going to need one of those. You're going to need an AV cable. You're also going to need your Xbox and the AV cable that came with your Xbox. So let's go check out. So now here's where the fun can begin, where the jumbled mess of cords comes into play. As you can see, this is the Dazzle. And this is what the front of the Dazzle looks like. As you can see, there's a white audio, red audio, an S video cable spot, and just a regular yellow video cable spot. So, right now I'm going to show you how the splitter. This is how the splitter should look into the Dazzle. You just plug one of the splitters into the red, one of the splitters into the white, one of the splitters into the yellow. It looks okay now, but in a few seconds we'll see that it soon turns into a jumbled mess of cables. Here is your Xbox cable. This is my extra one since I no longer use this one, but as you can tell, these are the cables that we're going to need. So basically, since I believe white is at the top, and if I'm wrong, you can just switch it around, but you're going to put one of the white audio from the Xbox into the white, where the white splitter is at, the red into the red splitter, and the yellow into the yellow splitter. Now don't worry about the colors, even though it says like red and white. That really doesn't mean that a red and white has to go in there. As you can tell, a yellow is going to go in this one. A red can go either into the red or white here, and then this white can go into this one. It's just that the splitter leads to what is a white, what is a red, and what is a yellow. So now let's find out how it looks when all is said and done. Now we have our finished product, or somewhat finished product, of what it should look like from at least the Xbox AV cables. As you can tell, white is plugged into the white splitter, red is plugged into the red splitter, and the yellow is plugged into the yellow one. So now we have to add in the extra AV cable that we're going to need. This is where things get a bit messy and a bit tricky. Here's our AV cable, and basically all you have to do, it's very simple once you can wrap your head around it, is take the white part of the AV cable, plug it into the other splitter that the Xbox white cable's from. We plug in the red where the other red cable's at, which leads into here. And then we plug in the yellow, which leads into this splitter here. So now let's take a look at what the final product should look like. So when all is said and done, this is what it should look like. You should have the 2 whites, which lead into the white spot. You have 2 reds, which lead into the red spot. 2 yellows, which lead into the yellow spot. So let's go over that again. 2 whites lead into the white. 2 reds leading to the red, 2 yellows leading to the yellow. This gets very messy. Obviously, the Xbox cord is going to go to your Xbox, but the AV cable, the other end of the AV cable, is going to have to go to your TV, or in my case, I have a switch box. That is a pretty old switch box. I've had this for a long time. Depending on if you have one or not, then that is where these are going to go. This basically means that your audio and video is getting split. One is going to your TV, so you can play, and then the other is going to your Dazzle, which, as you can tell, is going to be hooked up into this computer. Maybe not the same for you, but either way, I'm going to do a little bit of a tutorial on how to use some of the Dazzle stuff, the software, in a little bit. But for right now, we're going to go to the more expensive method. This method, it doesn't cost too much. I got this Dazzle off of eBay for about $50. It's not manufactured anymore. There's newer ones that are manufactured, but this one was off of eBay. The splitters could range anywhere between like $2 and $7. They're not very expensive, and the extra AV cable might cost you around $10. You should already have your Xbox and your Xbox cable if you're trying to do these, obviously. So all in all, it might cost you 60 to 80 bucks depending on where you get your cables. Unfortunately, the Dazzle software, the one that I have, does not support Vista 64-bit, so if you have Windows XP and Vista 32-bit, then you should be fine. But right now, let's go on to the more expensive method, which is the method I actually use. Now, unfortunately, I can't pick apart my my whole little setup here because it's kind of sensitively, if that's even a word, sensitive. It is a sensitive connection. I did not buy the greatest S-video cables in the world. These are not ones I use. This is an extra one that I have that doesn't quite work as well, so I'm just going to use it as a dummy. But to make this work well, this is an S-video cable. I don't know if you can tell, but this, if I can... Yeah, it's not going to work. This, it has little prongs inside of it. It's a better connector if you're not using HD. It is noticeable. You can tell the difference in quality when you use one of these. I upgraded all of my stuff to S-video. The connectors are actually quite expensive. They range from $20 to $30 new, or you can just possibly get them used on Amazon, eBay, etc. It'll save you some money, but you're going to need 2 of these. And also, I have the Xbox S-video AV cable, which basically it comes with one of these attached instead of the yellow one, which actually does make the quality considerably better. That also costs about $30, and you're going to have to look around for that. So let's get on to what my connection actually... Alright, this is what it actually looks like. It's kind of jumbled. I can't really take it apart, but I'll try to make it as clear as I can. This little black box is called a VDA, Video Distribution Amplifier. It basically acts as a large splitter, and it actually amplifies the signal. It gives you a more vibrant, brighter signal, so things don't get split off as easily, I guess is the term. Your screen will look brighter even though you're splitting off your connection. This is the input. This first one, this is where the Xbox cables are going to go into. As you can see, red, white, and there's an S-video. This is the Xbox S-video connector I was talking about. The next one is also going to be S-video. I upgraded all my cables to S-video. This one can either lead to your TV or your Dazzle. It doesn't matter. This one is going to lead, if this one's your TV, this is going to go to your Dazzle. If not, vice versa. You get the picture. Doing that, I kind of knocked out my connection. As you can tell, it's actually kind of sensitive because I don't have the greatest S-video cables in the world, but you might. As I said earlier, S-video cables run about 20-30 bucks new. The Xbox One is about 30 bucks new. You can get them cheaper. The VDA is $50 new at Radio Shack. You might be able to get a cheaper one picked up from somewhere, but as you can tell, this is the set of cables that runs to my Dazzle, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's all hooked. As you can tell, there's a red spot and a white spot that's already filled up, and the spot right next to it, which is right above my finger, is the S-video connector. So you'd basically put that in there. That's kind of how it would look, even though it fell out because I didn't put it in properly, but kind of doing this one-handed. But that is how it looks with the S-video connectors. It's very less messy, way less messy. And also, the quality looks a lot better. You can actually tell, if you've seen some of my earlier Xbox videos, it looked kind of muddy, but with these it makes it look actually quite clear. So let's go on to a tutorial on some of the software.